Hello and welcome. This is Lindsay of Lindsay Lou Rogers for the Momentum Talk Show. And today we have with us Lilith, the bra lady. Say hello,
Hello.
Lilith.
Hello.
Very happy to have you with us today. We will learn more about her in just a moment. But first, I will let you know what Momentum stands for. So Momentum stands for Monumental Opportunity Manifesting Extraordinary New Times Upon Man and Womankind. So that was a complete download just over a year ago, meaning that a message just came and said, hey, you got to start this show and it's going to be called Momentum. And I said, okay, well, what does Momentum stand for? And then I received another message that said, this is what it's going to be called. And so here it is. So Lilith is going to tell us a little bit about herself, her background, and give us some tips about bras today. So take it away, Lilith.
Thanks for having me on your show, Lindsay. And so I'm down here in Austin, Texas. It is extremely cold here today, which is very unusual. I know it's nothing like where you are, but it's very, very icy outside. So that's a little bit strange for here. But before I lived in Texas, I was in California. I was all over California, up and down. I was born in Southern California, raised in Northern California, went to college in Southern California, and then my husband and I moved back to Northern California. So all over. We eventually moved to Texas from San Jose, which is Northern California. But while we were up there, I was working at Stanford University. I was doing neuroscience research. I have a bachelor's of science in neuroscience, which most people don't know about me, considering I'm the bra lady now. But I was doing neurodegenerative disease research at Stanford for the chair of the neurology department. I did that for about 5 years. We studied mostly Alzheimer's, but some other neurodegenerative diseases as well, including Huntington's, Down syndrome. We were starting an MS study, and then we were studying kind of the pathways and how the diseases progress, but also a particular drug on whether or not it could help those diseases. And that drug was also being tested in other labs for things like ALS, traumatic brain injury, stroke, things like that. So we collaborated a lot with other labs as well. I was the lab manager, and I also did bench research, which is just like the test tubes and the pipettes and all that kind of stuff, like at the actual workbench. I did that for 5 years. I have a couple of I'm a co-author on a couple of papers, so yeah, it was pretty exciting. Early on in high school, you're looking forward to college, and I always liked science, but one day I was looking at college brochures and I saw something that was mentioning neuropsychology, and I was like, that sounds really interesting. And I found a college that had it. I applied for early admission, so I was accepted in my junior year of high school. So all of the college acceptance stress and all of that, I didn't have any of that because I was already accepted to my college. And I studied neuroscience, and it was very interesting. I love science. I love learning too. My favorite classes were neurodevelopment, so like humans, but also other animals, how the brain and nervous system develops from like conception to birth. And then the other class that was one of my favorites, which was also the hardest class, was neuropharmacology. So that was memorizing pathways and molecules and just how different agents, whether it's drugs or just other things affect the neuron pathways in the brain. That was such an interesting class. I really, really loved it.
Wow, I am blown away. I didn't know all of this about you either. Wow. So it sounds like the collaboration piece has actually come with you over time as well.
I definitely work with, I like to work with other people, and I like to learn things, and it's been great. Right after I graduated from college, the only lab job I could find at the time was working at the VA hospital in Loma Linda, California, and I was doing musculoskeletal disease research, which was not my field, but it was still interesting bench work. And then my husband and I decided to move to Northern California, and I wound up finding the job at Stanford, and it was just amazing. It was perfect timing, and I had a great time, and I learned so much. It was really an incredible place to work.
I was going to ask you, yeah, how was being on campus there and being on staff?
It was fun. I mean, Stanford has some amazing benefits. Like I would take the train to work. So because I didn't buy a parking pass, I got money towards my commuting. So like my train pass was paid for and all that. And that was pretty cool. And we got discounted tickets to the football games, which not super big into football. So we only did that a couple times. But yeah, just the campus itself is amazing and beautiful. And it was really cool to be there. One really cool thing happened. I don't know if you remember way back when President Obama had a meeting at Facebook, and it was like a huge deal. He was doing, I think, one of his first town halls, and it was at the Facebook headquarters. His helicopter landed right across the street from my building at Stanford. So we all stood outside. We watched the helicopter land. We watched the whole presidential motorcade. It was so cool. The Marine helicopters that go with it are so big. You have no idea until you see it in person. So Stanford's a pretty cool place to work.
Say that must have been a really eye-opening experience. Like, oh my gosh, I'm really here. This is actually happening.
Yeah, it was super cool.
So I have been to a football game at Stanford, and I'm also from Austin, Texas. That was an instant connection with Lilith. So there's a couple of connections there. That is amazing. And so what happened after that in your life?
So I worked at Stanford for about 5 years. I left when I was almost ready to have my son. I left my job when I was 4 weeks from my due date, but then he was really, really late. So I had about 6 weeks off before he was born. But yeah, we knew that I was going to stay at home. My husband is in the tech industry. At the time, he was working on at a medical device company doing writing the software for treatment delivery for the medical device that he was working at. Anyway, so when my son was born, I stayed home to be a stay-at-home mom, which we had planned for, and did that for a few months before we realized that where we were in Silicon Valley was really not very conducive to the lifestyle that we were looking for. If you've never been in Silicon Valley traffic, you have no idea what traffic is. My husband worked 17 miles from our house, and it would take him at least an hour and a half to get there and get home. So, I mean, he was never home, and it just wasn't what we were looking for. So we kind of looked at a map and sort of blindly picked Austin, Texas. We thought that it was kind of an up and coming tech area. Turns out we were right. I guess we had clairvoyance or something. But we picked Austin, Texas. He found a job here and we moved. We did not know a single person in the entire state of Texas, but we up and moved here with an 11-month-old and haven't looked back, except for the weather. It gets very hot here. Everything about here is great. People are like, do you miss California? And I'm like, only in the summer because of the weather. But it's been so wonderful here. We live in a great neighborhood. We have fantastic friends. It's just been really great. And the pull was so strong that the rest of my family moved here a year later. My parents and my brother both moved here almost exactly a year after we did. I know it was because they wanted to be closer to their grandson. It wasn't for us, it was for him. But it's been great. We all live in the same neighborhood. My parents live about a half mile from us, and my brother lives about a mile from us. So we are all together all the time. And it's actually been really great.
That is such a cool story. I didn't even know that either. Oh, and so even though you were from California, you got to bring your entire family, which is where home is anyway. It's where
Exactly.
your family
It was kind of always my selfish dream that like we would move somewhere and the rest of the family would follow. But I mean, to make that actually happen was just incredible. I wanted it to happen, but I never really thought that it would, but it has worked out, and it has just worked out amazingly.
That's beautiful and inspiring for others to hear that, hold on to that dream because it's possible it could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. And how did you get into bras?
Well, so we moved here. My son was just about to turn 1, so he's a little baby. I'm at home alone. Like I said, we didn't know a single person in the entire state. So I was spending a lot of time with a little baby, and not that that's not great, but I definitely needed some mom friends. So I joined a local moms club, and made some friends. We started doing play group. It was really, really great. One day, one of my friends who was selling Usborne Books, which is a direct sales book company, and they sell books for little kids up to like middle school age, I think, maybe older, I don't know, but they're kids books, and they're really, really wonderful kids books. She was having an open house, and desperate to go hang out with other moms and bring the kid and have them go play, together for a little play date. I went over there, and there happened to be a bra lady there. She was having an open house with a couple of vendors, and there was a bra lady there. This was not something I had ever heard of. And the bra lady was like, "Hey, you want to get a bra fitting?" And I was like, okay. I don't really know. Okay. And I did, and it was amazing. She did something that I do now still, which is take a before and after picture so that you can really visually see the difference. And it was a huge difference. And the bra was so comfortable, and I felt really good. You get so much confidence when you're wearing a really well-fitting bra. And I was like, why doesn't everybody know about this? I've never heard about this. None of my friends knew about it. I was like, everybody should know about this. And it kind of came to me at the perfect time, because my son was about 3 then. So he was about to start doing preschool a couple of days a week. And he's my only child. And, I could see that in a couple of years, he was going to be in kindergarten. And me being, a full-time stay-at-home mom, well, when he goes to school for, 6 hours a day, I'm not really a full-time mom anymore. And I definitely was looking for a purpose or a calling outside of just being a mom. Like, who am I now? So it came at the perfect time. In addition to being like, wow, this is amazing. It was also gave me sort of a renewed purpose outside of the home, especially when my son is, not in the home with me. Although now during the pandemic, he is back in the home with me doing virtual school, but he's in 2nd grade now, so he doesn't need constant monitoring.
That was beautiful. You spoke to two really important things. One is an identity, I don't want to use the word crisis, but identity definition of self as a mother. There's really a shift that goes prior to children, during that time and then after. And then you worded that with the same enthusiasm that I did when I met you. These women need to hear about this, because we had a bra party. We met through a networking group, and I felt like you did. We learned so much, and you got me to get outside in the middle of winter in a sports bra and do down dog by the lake here to do the promo for that event, which is great. And I agree with you. There's so much that goes into that. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about the Austin International Drag Foundation.
Yes. So early on in my bra career, so I've been doing this, next week will be 5 years. Early on, not only a couple of months after I joined, a friend of mine who was also a bra lady at the time, she's since gone back to teaching. We were kind of looking for vendor events to really get our name out there. And we were still working on our bra fit certifications, which means that we needed to fit a lot of people. And I happened to come across the Austin International Drag Festival, and that they were looking for vendors. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty awesome. Drag queens are super fun. Okay. So we got a booth and we did the festival. And let me tell you, it was the most fun I may have ever had. The energy and the fun and the laughter, and oh my gosh, they're so pretty. we walked around the whole time basically looking up because they're so tall. Oh my gosh, you're so tall and you're so pretty. So we absolutely decided we were going to come back the next year. Well, like I said, my friend went back to teaching, which is, of course, a very noble career. And I have stayed with the bras. And so I came back to do the vendor, work in the vendor market again the next year with my bra booth. I have a whole booth that I set up and a fitting room and everything. And it's so much fun. And it was very unique because in addition to fitting, biological women, which is wonderful, and I love helping women, I found kind of even a renewed purpose in helping in a very marginalized community, in that drag queens and also trans women, through talking to them and fitting them, I learned what a difficult time they have buying these kinds of products. You know, they told me they go into stores and the salespeople immediately say, "Are you shopping for your wife or your girlfriend?" and make them feel very uncomfortable. And so they just wind up ordering online and they don't know what fits, and it's really sad. So I found this purpose to help this very marginalized community feel comfortable with me and letting me do fittings and helping them find the best products so that they can be comfortable. I don't know if you've ever felt the inserts that drag queens wear. They are incredibly heavy. And to see them wearing bras that are, the wrong size or not built right, like, oh my gosh, their backs, like I ache for them. So it's just, it's been so much fun helping people who truly, truly need the help. And also the drag festival is just so fun. So after my second year being a vendor there, they put on a great festival, but the vendor event part was maybe kind of an afterthought. So they definitely needed some help coordinating the vendor part. And I had met a lot of vendors at that point and been to a lot of vendor events. And so I asked them if I could help, coordinate the vendor portion. They're like, "Oh my gosh, yes, please do it. Yeah, we have too many other things to do. And yeah, absolutely do it." So I was the vendor coordinator for the third festival that I went to. It was great. If I do, pat myself on the back, I did a great job. And after that, I, it was great doing it, but there were some communication problems because, the people on the board who are putting the festival together are very busy doing their thing and trying to, talk to different members on the board. So I approached them after and said, "What if I joined the board of directors? Like, would that be cool?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, yes." So that year I joined the board of directors, and this is my second or third year as a member of the board of directors. I'm the treasurer this year. We've had a big change up in the board members, and yeah, it's been, well, obviously a big change up with the pandemic as well. We used to put on fundraisers and events in person at, drag bars and stuff. And with the pandemic, that all kind of stopped. So in late last year, like November, I think we put on our first digital drag festival. And it was really, really cool. Like, these drag artists showed up big time. I mean, I thought it was just going to be them like just recording themselves standing there doing their routine, which still would have been fun. But they put on like full like artistic music videos. It was amazing. It was so much fun. And it was a great way to connect all of the art drag artists and friends that we've made over the years, because it's an international festival. We get people from all over the world who come to Austin every year to do this festival. So that was a lot of fun to get to do that.
That is beautiful. And I love that you came full circle. I was going to ask that question about the virtual option. And it sounds like you all made that happen. And you and I had discussed earlier about this ability of self-expression and how great it is for people and children. It sounds like there's a children's aspect to this as well.
Yeah, so we at the Austin International Drag Foundation have a mantra that all drag is valid. There are some drag communities that really only recognize traditional drag queens, but we believe that all drag is valid. And we have a showcase. So usually the festival is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday night is dedicated to drag kings. We have a drag king showcase, which is usually females who are dressing as males. And the drag king shows are fantastic. They are so creative, so funny. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But we also include, we don't exclude anybody. So we have biological females who are doing drag queen dressing. So, the big hair, the big makeup, the big outfits, and that's awesome. We recognize and celebrate any form of drag from any type of person. And we have a couple of kids who have performed a couple of times, and it's just so lovely to see these kids having the opportunity to celebrate and express themselves with an amazingly supportive audience. They get so much love and so much attention, and people just giving them advice and people wanting to do their hair and their makeup, and seeing their parents who bring them there and allow them this opportunity to have this self-expression and really explore their art in themselves. It's so beautiful. at drag shows, you know, you tip the artists when they're performing. And one of the kids, I swear, their like college fund was paid for by all the tips they got. Like it was just, it's amazing. I love it.
That's really great. And it really sets a precedent for the parents to openly support their children in these types of things and all things. And that leads to, we talked a little bit about how common pronouns are now and how it's being talked about in schools. And my daughter identifies as they. And there's, I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, but I think that's
Yeah,
a great thing.
it's, you know, become much more mainstream. Like it's totally normal when you get on a Zoom meeting with somebody, in the title where their name goes is also their pronouns. Like I think that's just wonderful. And we have little stickers at the festival that you can put on that say either she, her, or he, him, or please ask me about my pronouns, or they, them. Like we I think it's important to recognize who people are and how they feel about themselves, and to make them the most comfortable, and not to have them hide who they are. You know, if they are exploring and they want to be they, them, or you know, if they're transgender and they want you to call them he, him, that's perfectly fine and accepted. And I like that that's becoming much more mainstream and much more understood by kind of just the world at large, rather than just the LGBTQ plus community and their allies.
With everything you said. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad we touched on that. So, A, is there anything else you'd like to add? And B, after you do that, I'd love to hear just a few tips and tricks that you shared with us in our bra party that would help all women if you're open to doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, let's talk a little bit about bras.
Great. And I love your y'all sign. Y'all need a good
Y'all
bra.
need a good bra. Yes. Even though I've been in Texas for a while, I'm resisting the y'all. I'm trying really hard, but yeah, I do have my y'all need a good bra. People get a kick out of that. So yeah, as far as bras go, I, you know, pre-pandemic, I was doing in-person bra fittings, vendor events, fairs, things like that, and in-home bra parties. And then post-pandemic, I've been was able to pretty seamlessly switch over to doing everything virtually. So I do virtual bra fittings. They're super quick and super easy. And I do virtual bra parties, which is what I did for your group. And it was really, really fun. So yeah, so I'm able to do everything virtually. And some tips and tricks about bras. I just gave a little talk in my networking chapters group about tips and tricks. So the more you take care of your bras, the more they will take care of you. So bra care is something that's really critical. And that starts with washing it properly. So hand washing is best. I'm going to put that out there, but I'm a busy mom. I don't have time for that. So the next best thing is going to be using a lingerie bag, and make sure that you clip the clips together so that they don't get tangled on anything. Put it in the lingerie bag, wash on cold water and delicate or gentle cycle if your washing machine has it. Use a gentle detergent, you know, fragrance free, that kind of thing. But no fabric softener and no woolite. Those will start to degrade the elasticity and the integrity of the product. And then the biggest thing, if you don't remember anything else from me, please remember, don't put your bras in the dryer. That is the best way to get the wire to come out. So lay it flat to dry, like on top of your dryer or on a drying rack, or hang it to dry, but make sure that you hang it from both straps, because if you just hang it from one and it's wet and heavy, it's going to start to pull and stretch out one of the straps there. So that's washing. And also, you don't need to wash your bra every time you wear it until it gets dirty or stinky. You can definitely go a few wearings before you wash it, but you are going to want to let your bra rest in between wearings. So have a couple of bras that you rotate through in your bra wardrobe and let them sit and rest before you wear them again. These are synthetic fibers and they need a chance to rest and relax in between wearings. So actually rotating through them and washing and caring for them properly is really going to extend the lifespan. And like I said, the more you take care of them, the more they'll take care of you and keep you comfortable and perky.
Great. And I have already started taking your advice on not drying them. And so
Good,
started
good.
that. I haven't gotten to hand washing yet, even though I would totally be for that, but
You know, I am not a hand washer. I really don't have any clothes that can't go in the washing machine. I'm not big on that. So I definitely put it in the washer, but definitely cold water, gentle cycle, all that stuff.
And I do think that one thing that was really important that you touched on was having knowing your size, getting a fitting. And one thing that people maybe would like to know is that if you do a virtual fitting, you wear your clothes, you don't have to get undressed, you can still wear a tank top. And I think a lot of these women found out they were a little bit smaller around the rib cage, and you can correct me on the terminology, and they were a larger cup size. So that was always like, woohoo! Maybe we talked about lymph, so I don't know if you want to touch on just a little bit of like the right fitting bras.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I've been doing virtual fittings since even before the pandemic. And I remember when I first started advertising that I was doing them, people were very hesitant and they're like, I mean, do I have to take off my shirt? And I was like, oh my gosh, no. I can't believe that's what I put out there and that's what people were thinking, because that never even crossed my mind. Fittings are done over your clothing. Neither one of us is going to take our clothes off. All you need is to wear a good fitting bra, a fitted shirt, and one of these, just a flexible measuring tape. And even if you don't have one of these, if you have a string, a non-stretchy string, even a phone cord would work, because it's not stretchy. So, and like a carpenter's tape measure or a yardstick, any of that could work, because you measure yourself and then you measure it on the yardstick. Works great, I promise. Finding the right size is obviously that's one of my main jobs, is helping you find the right size. Most women, there's statistics that say like 85% of women are wearing the wrong size. I was, before I found, you know, essential bodywear and became a bra lady. I was actually wearing some very sad bras at the time. I have since learned and mended my ways. But yeah, so most women overestimate in the band size, so what goes around your rib cage, and underestimate the cup size. So, and that's no fault of your own. That's just because you either don't get fitted properly, or, you know, you just kind of go and say, well, this kind of fits, and buy that. So getting a proper fitting is definitely important. And when you're wearing the right size bra, not only will you look better, but you will feel a lot better. When people tell me, oh, I hate bras, I take it off as soon as I get home, you know, the shoes off, bras off thing. Or I've had people tell me, when I leave my office and get in the car to drive home, I unhook my bra. And that makes me so sad, because I hate that they're so uncomfortable all the time. So wearing the wrong size is definitely going to cause that discomfort. You know, you wouldn't think that overestimating in the band would cause that much discomfort, but it really does, because it can push the cups backwards a little bit more, and then it kind of pokes underneath your armpit and you get irritated there. Or if you're wearing too small of a cup size, you know, the underwire is going to poke you way farther forward. You know, it's going to come much farther forward than it should, and that's going to poke you and be very uncomfortable. So when you're wearing the right size, you shouldn't feel it at all. People don't believe me when I tell them, like, I have fallen asleep in my bra before because I forget I have it on and I forget to take it off. It's that comfortable. Yeah. People don't believe it, but it's true. So yeah, when you're wearing the right size, and there's a couple things about our bras that make them really great. We have some patented designs in them, like the underwire is a patented shape. So it's all designed to make it as comfortable as possible. Now, what you were talking about with the lymph nodes, I get people who tell me, oh, I just wear a sports bra all the time. And I tell them, if anything, let's get you into a regular bra. Wearing a sports bra all the time, especially most sports bras, are compression, which means they just kind of squish you down as much as possible. And that's how they keep you from bouncing. It's not really great for your lymphatic system. It doesn't allow the kind of drainage, because you have lymph nodes like all, you know, up and down your armpit area. And if you're wearing something super, super tight all day long instead of just when you're exercising, it doesn't really allow for the best lymphatic drainage. So I definitely like to get people into a regular bra that is properly fitted, so that, you know, your body is just a lot healthier. And our sports bras are a different shape, so they're a little bit better for you, in my opinion, too.
That is really helpful, especially for people like me that sometimes are in a sports bra all the time or teaching some sort of physical movement activity. I think what you just said there can change people's lives. Just something that fits well and is, affects the lymph drainage and that's not, causing pain or is the wrong size. Those things make a big difference. And I think a lot of people can, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's a lot like shoes. If you're wearing half a size too big or half a size too small, it's so uncomfortable. You're either getting blisters or your toes are all squished up. And you think about that literally all day while you're wearing those shoes. It's just incredibly uncomfortable. You can't wait to take them off. It's the same thing with your bra. If you're wearing the wrong size or the wrong style, it's very uncomfortable. You're thinking about it all day. It's making you grumpy. It's causing pain in your back and your neck and your shoulders. And that's just not good. So, I mean, yes, a good bra can elevate your outfit and help you look great. It actually helps you look thinner because the thinnest part of a woman is the top of your torso here. So if your breasts are hanging down, you're blocking that. So you look a lot wider. So you instantly look thinner. But in addition to looking great, you're going to feel a lot better too.
Yes, and any woman being in a better mood is better for the whole wide world, or any person who's wearing a bra being in a better mood. Okay,
Yeah.
all of that. I also want to talk a little bit about philanthropy. You guys donate bras.
We do. So Essential Bodywear, which is the company that I'm with, has partnered with the nonprofit I Support the Girls, and they collect gently used bras or new bras, new panties, and also menstrual products, because they collect them and they donate and distribute them to women and people in need. So homeless shelters, women's shelters, women in transition, from like a rehab center or what's the word, like a victim shelter, any of that kind of stuff. I was actually watching a TV show where it was a young women's prison, and they got a shipment of the bras there too. So, and also women who have been affected by natural disasters, because we started this when there was a whole string of terrible hurricanes, and Mother Nature doesn't really care that you need to wear a bra or that you're going to get your period. So these products are a need that you may not immediately think about. Food, water, of course, but these products are also a must. So that's a long way of saying yes. So we collect any used bras that you have. So I get you in the right size bra, and if you're anything like most women, you have a whole drawer full of bras that you don't wear, that don't fit, or that are from a long time ago. So they bring them to me. I have a giant box in my living room that I'm getting ready to set. It's probably got 200 or 300 bras in it. So we collect all of those and we send them to I Support the Girls, has locations around the country, and then they of course distribute them. And this month, my company Essential Bodywear is doing a buy one, give one promotion. So for every bra that you buy, they are going to give a brand new one to I Support the Girls.
That is wonderful. Oh, I love all of that, because those things, all the categories there are so important. And it's great that Essential Bodywear does that. And, it's a huge part of people's budget, especially if they're going, yes, I see the eyes light up there. And, we're all out there to support each other. And I think this is something that it's not always talked about. It kind of flies under the radar, and it's a huge deal. And if you are uncomfortable, then yes, it leads to a bad mood. And it's hard to say in a meeting, like, my bra is not fitting right. That's why I'm a little cranky here.
Yeah.
So I think it's great you're giving back. And I think that there's a huge need for that. So that is so wonderful.
Absolutely. And especially with the menstrual products too. It's not something that people like to talk about a lot. It's very hush hush, but it shouldn't be. It's a natural part of your body. And, if you are running away from home or you're homeless, again, it's not something that you would immediately think about as a need. But once you take a second to think about it, you're like, wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Of course they need menstrual products. So we collect those and send those in as well.
That's amazing. Yes. Wonderful. Oh, I feel like we have come full circle. Is there anything you would like to add, Lilith?
No, this has been really fun. Thank you for having me.
What a joy. So happy to talk with you today. And we look forward to having you on again sometime. Maybe we can have a new subject. Thank you so much.
I've got lots to talk about.
You're great. Your flow was fantastic. So thank you so much. We will see you all again at the next Momentum Talk Show.
Thank you.